Today I'm going to do a review of the Sea Eagle TC16 travel canoe, 16 feet. I'm the old man in New England, and I typically do reviews of outdoor equipment and travels around New England. If this is the kind of thing you like, please subscribe, please like, and hit the notification bell so you hear when my videos come out. I've owned the TC16 for 6 months, so this will be my impressions of that. And I'll especially point out the number one reason why I got the TC16, and that number one reason still holds true 6 months later. My boat arrived quickly via UPS, and I purchased the model with the 2 traditional canoe seats. This is a real upgrade from earlier models that only had inflatable seats. It's also available with a 3rd seat, so this canoe is actually capable of carrying 3 people. I purchased that center seat over the winter, and I use it primarily for solo paddling. It puts me just behind center of the boat, and it's a good position for solo paddling. The boat handles really well. I'm surprised for an inflatable. I'm used to paddling a Swift solo canoe, a Winona tandem canoe, and this handles really well with myself and with my wife, and we've had up to 3 people in it. It's not a bad option if you don't have the ability to carry a canoe on your roof or on a trailer. And that brings me to the number one reason for why I bought this canoe. And this is why I got it. Because in this van I can't carry a canoe, can't carry a kayak, but I can fit my Sea Eagle in here. I do have to have it folded just right to fit in there, but when it's folded and it fits, it's great. Packaging for this is not that great. This bag is kind of okay. I think I would have preferred to have clips on here. Instead they have these D-rings, and they're kind of a pain. I ended up having to cut these things and re-burn them and melt them down because they just frayed like crazy. I think Sea Eagle could have done a little bit better job. I would have been willing to spend a little bit more to get something of a little bit more substance. It's 16 feet long, weighs 65 pounds. It's takes quite a bit to manhandle it. So the original option I got with this was the hand pump. I figured even though I'm an old man, I'm strong enough to pump it up. And so I did that for about 6 months. But it was hurting my lower back. So just recently, I paid the roughly $150, including shipping, for the electric pump. And that is definitely the way to go. The thing about this particular pump, comes from Sea Eagle, and you set it for the PSI that you need to pump it at, and that's 10 PSI. So it turns off when it reaches 10. Definitely the way to go. I highly recommend it, unless you have a good, strong lower back. So the electric pump comes with this nice little case. At first, when I used this, I took everything out. You know, the pump comes out, the 12-volt DC cables kind of go through this this spot in here, and then the hose is here. But it actually all works nicely together. This can stay in place. I can pump the hose in, plug the hose in there. It all works really nice. I'm pretty impressed with it. So these valves take a little getting used to. There's a stopper here, and when you deflate it, you push it in and you turn it right, and that holds it in. Push it in, turn it right, holds it in, so that as you roll it up, the air comes out. It's really important that when you inflate it, press it in, turn it left so it pops out, so that when you take the pump off, all the air doesn't come out. Ask me why I know that. And that's what happens when you forget to turn the valve in and left. Of course, the beauty of that is it turns off right at 10 psi. Sea Eagle doesn't recommend that you use other pumps, compressors, because they don't turn off automatically and you can ruin it. So the Sea Eagle comes with a keel as well. This goes in the back. I don't use it. I think if you know how to paddle, you don't need one. But I may give it a try sometime, but up to this point I haven't used it, so I keep it off. The nice thing about the TC16 2020 version is it's available with true canoe seats. Wood, nylon webbing, and they're comfortable. The downside is that they come with these lousy pins and rings, and just getting the ring into the pin while it's underneath the seat has been a real struggle for me and for everybody that's paddled with me. So I've modified this. I went to a sailboat rigging site and I found a similar pin that has a little latch that moves this way, so I just stick it through. It's spring-loaded, turn the latch, and it holds on. Way easier. If you're whitewater paddling with this, and this is rated up to class 4, I believe, I wouldn't use this method. I'd use the rings, because these do have a tendency to pop out if they're banged around a lot. So yeah, keep that in mind if you're going to use this for whitewater canoeing, and maybe not do the mod that I'm showing you. I originally bought this with just the front seat and the stern seat. But when I've paddled it solo, I'll sit, of course, in the bow and I'll paddle backwards. But I went ahead this winter and I bought the center seat, so I'm going to give that a try for a first time. But I think this should be a much easier way of controlling the boat. I'm used to my Winona Kevlar boat where I get out of the water, I pick it up easily, throw it on my roof, strap it down, and I'm out of the parking lot in a few minutes. The Sea Eagle TC16 is definitely not that experience. There's 4 drains down here in the stern, and I think my boat leaks a little bit because I can be out here for an hour or so and I've got quite a bit of water in it. And it's not just from the paddle or getting in and out. I think there's a slight leak. Of course, it is inflatable, so it's not going to sink, but yeah, I did reach out to Sea Eagle to find out what the story was about that. I haven't heard back from them yet, but it might just be the way inflatable boats are, or it might be defective. So to summarize, my number one reason for buying the Sea Eagle TC16 is the fact that it's portable. It folds up and it fits underneath the bed of my road trek. And number two, I much prefer paddling a canoe versus a kayak. I love the strokes that are available in a canoe. I love the different types of paddles I can get. And I like being able to share it with one or two other people. It's just a much better way to travel. By far the biggest downside of the TC16 is the weight. At 65 pounds, I didn't think it was going to be a big deal. Heck, I had canoes in the old days that were certainly 65 pounds or more. And it's a fairly standard weight for a general purpose canoe. But when it's all folded up in that small package, that 65 pounds becomes very heavy. And as I get older, I think it's going to cause some problems with my back. So if you've got similar issues with your back or lifting is an issue, I wouldn't recommend this particular canoe. And the only other negative I've found over the past 6 months is just the sheer amount of time it takes to set up and break down the canoe. I've gotten so used to just being able to pull my Kevlar boat off the roof, throw it in the water, and be on my way. And when I'm done, grab it out of the water, throw it on the roof, strap it down, and go. That is definitely not the case with an inflatable boat.